All right, welcome to New England Beer Buddies. I'm Mark. This is my friend Garrett. And for this episode, we're going to be drinking some Tree House beer, which Garrett has never tried before. Tree House, obviously, is one of the most famous craft beers probably in the world, but definitely in New England. They're definitely they're located in Charlton, Mass, which is about, I think, 20 minutes or so outside of Worcester. They're so famous. They're such a relatively small brewery in terms of how much beer they actually make. They're just famous for the beer, having really long wait times to get. During COVID, really the only way you can get them is to order it online and pick it up at the brewery at the same day. And I know recently when I went out to pick some up, it was quite a line. It took a while. It was waiting a while before you actually got to the point where they could drop the beer off at your car. And they're generally most famous for making IPAs. Very sort of fruity, hazy New England IPAs. They also do other types of beer. We actually today, in addition to the IPA, we have Julius, which is their flagship IPA. We also have a American Blonde Ale, Eureka with, Mosaic hops? I believe that's what they have. And so we're going to try it. I've had Treehouse before, really like it. But Garrett has it.
I'm very excited for this opportunity. I know Mark was saying, it's difficult to get, and you have to kind of go through a wait process to do it. I know you also mentioned you kind of have to watch for the drop of when they're releasing them and what they're releasing that day, and then place the order online and then pick up that day. So not the easiest thing to put your hands on. So this is kind of like a collector's item almost in a way.
Yes. This is only the second time I've got Treehouse beer. I think last year around the same time I picked up a... It
smells amazing, by the way.
Yeah, yes, it does. It is.
Even just pouring it.
Yeah, it really is like just a very strong smell, but cheers.
Cheers. Wow.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
It's a really good blend of different fruits. And I know you'll see another episode. If you haven't, go back and watch it on the blueberry stuff we just did. But I'm not usually a fruit and beer guy, but this is like just incredibly well balanced, kind of tropical fruit notes while still clearly being a New England IPA at its heart. It's a really good take on it. You mentioned hazy. I mean, it is so hazy.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's smooth. It's not doing that puckery thing that sometimes, lingers with IPA. That's what disappears instantly. I'm very impressed.
Yes, yeah. It's one of those.
Never had anything like it.
Yes, it's one of those things where it's so hyped and is the one that everyone mentions as like the best, IPA or whatever, one of the best IPAs, and you kind of don't want to say it is one of the best because that seems like such an obvious answer, but. It is. It's amazing.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason that's the general consensus, I guess.
Yes, and there's a reason why it's like, you was like 30 cars or so that I was parked behind and waiting when I was trying to pick this up. But yeah, it really is amazing beer. But it's something for me since it's out of the way, and it's like, especially during COVID when you're mostly like picking up, like a 24 pack or whatever. It's not something I can get regularly, but when I do, it's a really, really nice treat, and it'll keep me going for almost a month.
Well, yeah, and I would say it's smooth for an IPA. It's not doesn't have too much bite to it really.
Yeah.
Enough to definitely grab your taste buds, but it's not. I mean, this is just incredibly well balanced. So
yeah,
I'm so glad you brought this in. I'm very impressed, and at some point, I guess, hopefully with a few less lines, maybe we can get down there. That's an easy drive to make, and hopefully we can actually get in there and sit down and try some stuff on tap. But definitely something that I don't know. We'll have to keep going through their lineup, I guess.
Yeah.
And do that more often. So excellent choice. Definitely glad that you brought these forward, and I'm eager to try the blonde next.
Yeah. All right, welcome back. Right now we're going to try our second Treehouse beer of the evening. It's a Eureka, which is American blonde ale brewed with mosaic hops. Treehouse is famous for their IPAs, but they also brew a lot of different things. And this is actually the first non-IPA that I've had from Treehouse. I personally thought it was really good. I actually shared some with a friend last evening, and he actually said it was one of the best Treehouse beers he ever had. Feel it still, even though it's not an IPA, you can kind of, with the way that it's hopped, you can still, it sort of reminds you of a Treehouse IPA, and I really, really enjoyed it too.
Excellent. Well, let's give it a shot and see what I think.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's hold on a second. Something I can't quite put my finger on in there. It's almost, I don't want to say smoky, but it kind of is. I'm trying to figure out, give a good name to it. Both of these are very aromatic, by the way. Definitely something I noticed while pouring both, that I didn't have to be anywhere near the actual glasses to pick up, some of the fruity aromas and things. They're both, they both have a little bit of a bitterness, but not a ton. Much less so with the first one, the Julius. But I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's a great blonde ale. You're right. It is borderline IPA. I mean, but it's a regular American blonde. I'm surprised it's not a blonde pale ale or something like that. It is definitely. It's got a zest to it, almost an uplifting little. I don't know, something to it. I'm not quite sure how to describe it well, but it's definitely well done.
Yeah. Yes, it's the way I kind of feel like the hop flavors are very similar, and they're very intense and tropical, just like the IPA we just had. But there's something a little bit different in the body. It feels like a little lighter, and that's where it kind of reminds me of, it's actually a blonde ale, not an IPA, but it seems to be very close to an IPA.
Right, it's hopped pretty similarly, and I don't know if we mentioned it on the Julius, but we kind of did while we were chatting off camera. That one of the big winners here was definitely the mouthfeel. Was definitely the mouthfeel itself. That it was very smooth for an IPA, and I think they've kind of nailed that again here, where they have a hop forward. I don't know how they're doing it, but where they have these great hop forward ales that are very smooth mouthfeel wise, which that's usually something you don't see too often. It's a little tougher to pull off. Usually the smooth stuff and the dark malty stuff, that's kind of par for the course. And then in the pale ales and the IPAs and stuff, the smoothness usually takes a little bit of a backseat, but it's definitely a good mouthfeel to them. Yeah, for sure. So I'm impressed again, but I can't quite put my finger on what that little peppy, uplifting zing is. But it's good. It's not peppery really. It's something different. And both of these, and kind of something else that we had mentioned that probably should throw in the video here. Both of these are kind of on that juicy side of things. Like, it's not New England, but I always go back to the Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze kind of mouthfeel and kind of flavor combination. It's definitely reminiscent of that. I know you had some other comparisons as well on that.
Yeah. Well, you get in a lot of it's obviously a very New England style of hopping. So it's very tropical. I mean, you get a lot of IPAs, from, I think, Mighty Squirrel Brewery in Waltham. A lot of their IPAs, like Cloud Candy, are like this. A lot of Lord Hobo has a lot of IPAs like that. just, it's, the phrase I've heard a lot is like juice bomb, where it's like all
Yeah.
these, just, big, bursting tropical flavors. But one of the big things about Treehouse, which I think makes them so good, is that even when they have these big, bold flavors, is just they seem very smooth on the palate, and it's not like something where they're able to get these flavors without having tons of like sort of a viscous sort of bitterness sort of in the aftertaste, which I feel
Absolutely, and that's the huge selling point on both of these. I don't quite know how they're pulling it off, but I'm no brewing expert, and they certainly are. But it's definitely there in both the Eureka and the Julius. And the Julius, I think part of the way they probably did that is you have all these tropical flavors, but the two stronger ones perhaps are peach and mango, which I think they do have a lot of citrus kind of flavor blend to it as well, but I think that kind of helps to the peach and mango with that smoother, sweeter mouthfeel kind of help to balance that out. But in this blonde, you don't have those flavors, but you still have a very smooth feel. So it's not that's doing it for them clearly, but it's an excellent job. So
yeah.
I'm definitely glad you brought both of these by.
Yeah.
They're pretty impressive pieces of art, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have.
No, I think that's all I had to say at this point. I'm kind of just want to finish this off, as it's such a good beer.
All right, well, let's sit back and enjoy. Thank you all for watching. Of course, all the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe. And if there's anything you want us to do next, feel free to reach out to us, let us know. And as always, drink good beer.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.